Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Josh. This is Talking Smarks, here with our third episode of the year. We're kind of getting a hot streak going, trying to get episodes out every week. I promise to be able to keep this momentum going just as long as humanly possible. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We had quite a eventful weekend for professional wrestling, and this time we're not really going to be talking so much about AEW or even WWE, but we're talking about events that happened outside of the two major federations around the world. Right now we're talking about arguably the number 3 promotion in the world currently going right now, and that is New Japan Pro Wrestling. They just had their Battle of the Valley event here in the US this past weekend, and we had some memorable ongoings, especially tied somewhat into AEW, but as of right now, we don't really know where this is going. It could be a work, it could be a shoot. We simply do not know. And what am I referring to exactly? During the broadcast of Battle in the Valley, a masked man came out and decided to attack Umino right after the conclusion of a match. Masked man, we thought, wait, who could this be? Kind of a smaller person, so it wasn't anybody big. It wasn't like a Chris Jericho or a Swerve Strickland or somebody that a little bit smaller. They take off the mask, and it is revealed to be none other than the former Jungle Boy Jack Perry himself. Jack Perry has not been seen in any capacity, on camera, off camera, haven't even seen anything on social media since Brawl In, the falling out, the fight with CM Punk backstage at Wembley Stadium after the FTW match with Hook, where Jack Perry famously hit the glass of a windshield and said, "You know what this is? Real glass! Go cry me a river," taking a direct shot at CM Punk, vetoing a collision spot that was supposed to involve Jack Perry and real glass, despite Jack Perry already having vacation time approved. Allegedly, Punk boycotted the spot, even though the higher-ups on Dynamite said that he could go through with the spot. Since Collision was CM Punk's show at the time, he basically had the final say-so in whatever made it on air, which led to apparently a backstage rift between the two, which culminated at All In with Jungle Boy seemingly calling out CM Punk, which led to a legitimate fight backstage, which culminated in CM Punk leaving AEW and returning to WWE. Jack Perry looks a little bit different now. He has a full beard. He looks noticeably older. I don't know if it's just a beard or just the last few months, being labeled quote-unquote the scapegoat has taken a toll on him, which ties into this next bit. He goes on camera. You see him. He's in the ring. He takes what looks like an AEW contract, could be the real thing, could just be a prop. We don't know at the time of this recording yet. And he tears it up on camera and then holds up an armband that says scapegoat. At the time of this recording, we have no clue whether this is an angle, whether this is a shoot. We don't even know what Jack Perry's status within AEW is. He hasn't been seen since Brawl In. He hasn't posted anything. No one has confirmed whether or not he is still part of AEW, if his contract expired. Right now, nobody knows for sure. This all could just be a work and just be a massive angle. Perhaps they can use New Japan to kind of help rehabilitate his image after everything that happened at Brawl In, and then bring him back to AEW just to kind of let the heat die down a little bit more, considering just how recent everything was with Punk leaving and then arriving in WWE. It could be a way to help him build his heel chops more, especially considering that AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling have a very good working relationship together. Right now, everything is unknown. We haven't heard anything really official from, Dave Meltzer or Brian Alvarez or any of the notable wrestling journalists. No one knows for sure yet where this is going to go, but rest assured, I am quite intrigued. I think Jack Perry can pull off a heel character if you do it right. One big critique you could say of Jack Perry as a heel is that in promos you can't take him seriously. And it is kind of hard to take him seriously because we know in real life he's just such a nice guy. And it's really hard when you are a real life nice guy to be able to kind of flip that switch. Some people with years and years of experience, or even people that just have that ability within them, such as MJF. MJ is supposed to be like a consummate pro backstage, but when he flips the switch and he's in front of a camera, he will eviscerate a fool. If this is a way to kind of like help really create that heel character for Jack Perry and get it really well established and get everything firmly into place before he jumps back over to AEW, that would be really cool. But right now, no one seems to know for sure what's going on there. So, interesting thing to look out for. And then also, just this past weekend in Las Vegas, one of my favorite cities, we had the return of TNA. They were going by Impact for many, many years, but then they decided to go back to the TNA name. Their Hard to Kill pay-per-view. We had some pretty notable moments going on during this event. Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, yes, he showed up in New Japan. He's got, looks like a program that's going to be going on there. And it looks like he's also going to be doing work for TNA. It feels so strange. Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, whatever you choose to call him, he was a lifer in WWE. You kind of figured he would just live out the entirety of his career there. But no, he is back with a vengeance. If he's going to be just working all the smaller promotions, you know, just doing a couple dates here and there, that could work really good. At the time of recording, still no word on whether he plans on joining AEW or not, so that remains to be seen. But right now, I really like what he's doing because he's got something to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He is obviously proven talent in the ring. He can give you a 3-minute squash match. He can give you a 45-minute wrestling clinic. The man can literally do it all. He is a former world champion. He is a great person to have in your company, even if it's just for one night. He's a consummate pro. He delivers in the ring over and over and over again. I can't wait to see what else he chooses to do. And then we also had a shakeup in the Knockouts division. Jordynne Grace defeated Trinity, the former Naomi, for the Knockouts World title. Further fueling speculation now that Trinity has dropped the title, that she could be potentially headed back to WWE. No one knows for sure yet. The Royal Rumble's coming up here quicker than we know. Heck of a time to make a return if she is returning. Also, we spotted more familiar faces in the crowd at Hard to Kill. Mercedes Moné as well as Bayley. Yes, WWE Bayley. Both were in the crowd. They were obviously covered up just so that way they don't catch the eye of the television cameras. After all, don't want to cause a scene, cause any fiascos with contract tampering or anything of that nature. Both of them were spotted. A picture was actually posted on Jordynne Grace's Instagram of the three of them backstage. So yes, all three of them were backstage. Mercedes and Bayley were there, obviously, to support Trinity, cheer her on during her match. They're obviously great friends in real life, so we'll see what ends up happening there. As of right now, nobody knows what's going to happen with Trinity. The only thing we seem to know for certain is that Mercedes Moné isn't going to show up to WWE. Talks broke down between them, and the big speculation now, according to Meltzer, is that Mercedes Moné is scheduled to show up on AEW TV, quote unquote, soon. So all in all, it was a very eventful weekend for professional wrestling. Also, at the same time, we just have more and more building up on WWE side, on AEW side, just kind of everybody getting their plans in motion. Obviously, the Royal Rumble's just around the corner, which is the beginning of WrestleMania season. AEW seems to be also moving forward, just kind of getting back to basics after everything that's happened to them within the last year, with everything regarding CM Punk. So we'll see where everything goes. I can't wait. It's certainly an exciting time in the professional wrestling industry, and we'll keep trying to bring as much of it here to you all as possible. And I do thank you all so much for listening and continuing to listen as we work on getting this show back on track on a much more consistent basis. And I thank you all so much, and you all have a great rest of your day.